As far as the calendar goes, I want to give you information so you can make an educated decision on how to budget depending on how you want to design and execute your job, whether you want to use professionals and go the custom route or whether you want to use a nice retail or the hardware store. Typically, the industry works about a year ahead. So in January, we are getting information and going to trade shows for what the new products are going to be for the upcoming season in September, October, November, December. In June and July, we're typically meeting with clients and placing orders for custom materials to be delivered in October and November. That's for the whole luxury custom route. We do occasionally work with clients in the October, November rush, but the cost goes way up for that. If you want to go the retail end, you are able to order typically as early as August for some of the larger retailers. You might get a catalog in the mail, or you might be able to go online, and you would order that season's retail product and have it shipped to your home. If you go the discount route, I always say make your plan early, and buy often. What you don't want to do is get into a situation where you need 15 of something or 5 of something, and you're shopping at Tuesday mornings and Home Goods and Stein Marts, and you're having to drive all over or make phone calls to get 5 matching items. I have been guilty of that before. So I want you to have the information that you need. One of the reasons I love doing the overall plan is that when we see something that comes in, if for some reason a discounter has bought something that we've seen in January in volume, and they are able to really negotiate price down, if I see it in a discount store and I know I've seen it in January or July, I'm going to go ahead and buy that and hold that as soon as I see it in the retail stores. The other option is to do the January sale. And January sales are great if you're a planner, bad if you're impulse. So don't go buy things that you don't need. Don't buy plaid if there's no plaid in your house. So where do you spend, and what do I recommend professionally for you to allocate resources to? I always say buy your foundations and your ribbons really well. One of the things that can take a gorgeous holiday home that's just been done really beautifully and just kind of go wah, 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 is really cheap ribbon. And my feeling is the ribbon is like a good tie. Once it's been dry cleaned, you don't want to use it anymore. In the same way, if you don't store your ribbon, you don't typically dry clean ribbon, but if you don't store your ribbon really well from the preceding year, it just doesn't look the same. So I do counsel clients, and I'm going to counsel you to buy the best ribbon that you can afford, and make sure you buy enough. If you think you're going to need 5 rolls, buy 7. What to discount on? Things that I discount on pretty consistently. Samples from Tuesday mornings, Home Goods, Stein Marts, things like that. Those are some of my go-to suppliers for discounts. If we need a wreath for a back door for a client, or a gate, or something a little out of the way, or we're trying to put on, create a little vignette in a guest house, then we'll use stores like that, and we'll pull in some items from the Home Depots and things like that, so the budget just doesn't go over the top. So those are some of the things that I discount on. I have occasionally used the dollar store. I always feel like you get what you pay for, and if something is too cheap, that means somebody somewhere is being taken advantage of. So I'm not always wild about buying the least expensive item in the batch. So that's just something to think about. I did put together a page for you on page 18 on nothing but receivers and professional installers. And I did this because I want you to have the information. No matter where you are in the country, there will be receivers and installers that you could probably access. I know we have wholesale accounts with them just based on volume, but I think anyone can go ahead and call up a trucking company and set up an account to receive, deliver, and install different materials for your holiday homes. Typically, you would order your items between January, preferably August, which you can go as late as October. The items are then delivered to that receiver. They check condition, sign for it, inventory it, and then communicate with the manager of the project. Basically, the receiver receives all of the materials over, a period of time. The receiver stores all of the items until it's time for those things to be installed in a single day or a series of days. They then pack up a truck that will fit in the neighborhood. They unpack, install, and remove all of the trash. Typically, we pay between $90 and $150 an hour per person when we're using professional receiver companies. They're not inexpensive, but they're licensed, bonded, insured. They do this all the time. That's what they specialize in. It covers trucking and the warehousing fees. One thing that I would caution you with is typically during the holiday season, you have to schedule 8 to 12 weeks out. Sometimes you can get away with 6 weeks, but typically it would be 8 to 12 weeks out. You want to get on the calendar. And your day could cost between, I actually put the numbers for you right here, 8 hours, 2 people, $2,400 plus could be between $3,000 and $5,000 a day. That's why I said when you're doing this whole budget thing, this number on the storage and receiving and installation could be your largest number. And that's something that people don't necessarily think about. The other thing that can be budgeted into this is what I call a project manager fee. If we are typically on site for a project management, we charge a project management fee for the day, depending on the number of people. And again, that can range anywhere from $2,500 if it's an assistant up to $4,000 for me and another assistant per day, plus travel, all those sorts of things. So you really need to wrap those into your costs. If you have a home manager, I actually put together a little flow chart here for you as well. And I took out the receiver part. So you can see the professional receiver route versus the home management route, or if you're going to manage it yourself. It's the same process no matter what. And then hiring people to help. There's an old saying, good, fast, and cheap. You can have 2, but not 3. So if you want to use a local handyman or use your family, bake the cookies, do everything you can, put some music on, make sure that you make it a pleasant experience. The final part of the budget is creating a spreadsheet. I'm a firm believer that everything should have a spreadsheet and everything should have a budget. We've got to start somewhere with this. So create a spreadsheet and do consider giving yourself an hourly rate and tracking your time so you know how much time you're spending on doing your holiday home. In your PDF, I have 2 spreadsheets for you, an overall spreadsheet and then a by room spreadsheet. So you can get an overall picture and decide where you want to allocate different resources and different numbers. And I've listed all 5 areas: design, materials, pre-storage, installation, and removal and re-storage. And then I've given you sections for low, medium, and high. You just calculate your square footage, put some numbers in there, see where you fall out. And then again, by room. This is helpful. So you may think, okay, well, I want to allocate some really beautiful pieces in my dining room and my living room because we're going to host a benefactor event. Beautiful, wonderful. I want to spend a little less in the family room or the library. So you can literally use this sheet room by room by room so you can understand where your resources are being allocated. Closing thoughts on budget. I say embrace the process and be okay with hospitality. I think hospitality in some cases is a dying art. And I think it's really honorable to create a beautiful space and honor the people that are coming into your home. Whether it's a luxury home or a studio apartment, you have the gift of hospitality. Use it. Embrace the process and be okay with it. The whole process of hiring versus not hiring your family. You know your personality and temperament. You know what's honoring to your significant other or your friends. You know where you can push and where you can't. So be honoring with that whole process. Again, the good, fast, and cheap rule, you can have 2 but not 3, so plan ahead so it doesn't cost as much. And then be honest about your sweet spot of engagement. Do you love to design but hate to install and take inventory? That would be me. So I'm going to do the design myself, but I'm going to pay for the installation portion. And then be honest about your skill level and your goals. You know, it's one thing to have a picture in your head, but if you're not skilled at executing it, go ahead and hire the professional installer. They do this all the time. They know how to hang things. They know how to get things so they're stable. It's okay to spend a little extra money on those things. And then make sure that you follow up, closing thoughts on budget. Give yourself permission and time to figure these numbers out. Once you get a handle on this, then all of that stress just kind of melts away because you're not standing, you know, looking at a catalog, or you're not out shopping last minute at Pottery Barn and thinking, can I buy 5 of these wreaths? Does it fit within my budget? You already know what your numbers are, and you already know what your parameters are. You've made the decision and you're at peace about it. The next workshop we're going to cover is the keep, the pitch, and the mix.